I'd love to talk through more of the tracks that we can make. I mean, the album on the whole,
absolutely.
It's the production on point, amazing.
Thank you.
Working with some old mates with your production as well.
Yeah, so DNA was one of them. So David and Anthony are such really great friends who worked on the very first record that I shared. It was in 2007 or 8. So they've been on the journey. Louis Schroll was one of them as well. Worked on a track called Jealous.
With a powerful tune.
With a really good friend, Mookie. I'm Mookie, and and that was just so much fun to do. Again, Get Back Up and by Thief, or PJ, also known as PJ. But just really kind of cool people that I knew that could really kind of nurture and help carry this sense of this almost shield and protection, and I knew that they could really take care of that and nurture that.
It's such clever choices that are made in all the production. Beautiful instrumentation, clever chords, and your melodies, your vocals are supreme on this. And like you say, you feel like this is the Jess God moment.
It's a gold moment for me.
You can tell all the hard work that's gone into it. The songwriting as well. You're credited on every song on this record. I know.
Thank you. And a song Butterfly, again, it's about watching domestic violence with my parents and them kind of fighting back and forth. It's a very kind of deep rooted experience where from a child to now a woman and experiencing a relationship and just kind of going through the ups and downs, or visually kind of portraying into what is now and what I'm living now. So I think we do have to flip in and out of who we are when we're a child to when we are now, and bring that influence in somehow to kind of understand the choices that we make. And so this record is basically that,
I wanted to ask you about Blessing, because you start the record with Blessing, and it's about self-confidence and knowing who you be. I wanted to ask you, when were you truly happy with you and who you were? When did you find that self-confidence?
I think that was 6 years ago. It was like the beginning of beginning this record. So 6 years ago, I it was that moment of like, I'm actually not happy with how things are going, and I don't feel in control. I don't feel like, I'm also being credited and respected for what I'm actually gifting and what I do know. And this needs to turn around.
How did you turn it around?
Well, it was funny because at that time too, I'd just gotten the offer of producing Secret Daughter. It was the first season of Secret Daughter, and I was working with Leah Purcell, and I have to give her credit because she took me through a method acting training, and it was actually the mind over the body. It was like legit really getting into my own personal green monsters. And
Stanislavski.
It's facing the demons. And I discovered that I did have a bit of a huge green monster. Crazy, but
we all have them. It's okay.
We do have
it's how we deal with them. And if we let them go or not.
And I wasn't accepting it. I realized that I never gave it time. I never acknowledged it, and I would always kind of have the door locked. And she took me through thank you, Leah. Thank you, Leah Purcell. Such a really strong woman, such a very powerful mind, and knowing her story as well, she let me in on very personal stories, I guess to also shape me and help me get through what I needed to do in terms of method acting training. And it was just at that point that there were things that I definitely unlocked, to be confident in the mind, to know that, go with my gut instinct and do it, and whatever that may be, do not apologize for it. And that's who I was. I was a person of just, apologizing all the time for no reason. So I got into this effect where I was just like, oh, I'm sorry. And it's like, why? And people would be like, why is she saying sorry?
That's how English people say hello. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Mind ago.
Yeah. It was just a thing. Yeah. And I knew I hated it, but it was a habit. It was already in the deep hole of of it, and I just didn't know how to get out of it. But you know, I did everything from boxing. I learned how to box. I learned how to. There was a training session where, you know, I'm the tree, and there's going to be a bear, and that bear is going to come and rub up against you, and whatever's, you have to continuously to be rooted, no matter what. You must stay rooted.
Rooted by the bear.
Like you're the tree.
Oh, you're the tree. Yes.
And your roots must be deep in the ground, and that was really hard. Like, I think there were most times where I just started crying, like I was bursting into tears. It was very confronting.
Against you, yes, indeed.
But and I guess that's what really kind of tapped into, you know, like I'm worthy. Like everything that I do, everything that comes out of my mouth, every physical thing that I action, that is going to be exactly what it is. And I've been brought up to kind of, you know, be very respectful. Everyone, you know, give time to, and it's like, you know, it's respect everything around you. And at that point I was like, oh my gosh, like I need to be a little bit more selfish with my time.
It's okay to say no.
Yeah,
it is
and it's
actually
okay to say. And that was my biggest fear. My biggest fear was saying no, because I didn't want to let anybody down. And that was the scary part about creating this record, was learning how to say no, learning to appreciate that, you know, that's going to be the most important through this process.
And it's your power too.
And it's the power.
And you retain your power when you say
okay
when you are
selfish.
able to say no.
Yeah.
Selfish sometimes. Selfish is a great song on the album.
Yes,
That's actually
But that's a bit more of a sexy thing.
yes, it's a sexy kind of, but it's also a take on, I guess, you know, when you just elaborate. I think when you do become elaborate in the song, it can be whatever you need it to be. For me, it was being selfish with my partner, because we'd spent so much time away. When we did get together, you know, it would, you know, somehow it would be with friends or work colleagues, and then it'd be about that, not about us. So I was just like, this is our time, you know, like I just want you to myself, you know. Can I be a little bit selfish right now?
Do you
Demi
sometimes
sounds
serenade?
awesome, by the way.
Do you
Demi sounds
serenade?
awesome.
No, I've never. Yeah,
really?
them I've never serenaded. Like,
You're still with them, aren't
yes,
you?
I am. Yes, I been with this fella for like almost over a decade, and we just recently got engaged. Thank you. And it was on his time, you know what I mean? So it was so beautiful, because, you know, he'd been waiting, you know, for the right time, and I think he really just was so patient with, you know, how it was going to be, and it was going to be on his terms, you know what I mean? So it was like, you know, good for him, because he had made it, you know, his time. Whereas I think, having lived in my world, you know, everything's kind of been a schedule, or here, there, you know, gotta do this, gotta do that, and he's just gone with it. But he's a very special person.
You got a date?
I don't have a date, but it'd be nice to kind of, I don't know, within the next 2-3 years. I'm already kind of predicting, but like, I don't know how that's going to go. I'm just like, that's the first step already. And the beauty of that too, like,
gorgeous.
he was so
What
traditional.
A beautiful ring.
He was so traditional that we ended up going up north without me knowing. He had somehow had a day with my dad, and basically asked my dad, you know,
what a stand-up kind of guy.
Yeah, no, it was very respectful, and I think they shared a few tears together, and it was a very quiet trip to the block, which is our farm at home. We've got ducks, pigs, chickens, and they just produce, you know. And so they were doing a trip, and it happened then. Yeah, so it's pretty special.
Your wedding's going to be awesome.
It's going to be a big family. I come from a big family, lots of food,
well, you got 4
lots of music.
sisters, haven't you?
1 of 5 girls.
Yeah.
With just, you know, hundreds of first cousins and second cousins, and
I would have hated using the bathroom in your mornings.
Oh my God.
on the way to school.
You don't understand.
No, but good acoustics. Good acoustics.
Good acoustics, but geez,
like,
who hogged the mirror the most?
my second other
Jesse's
sister.
singing in there again. Get up!
I think it was just screaming. It was every morning was just screaming. Stop wearing my clothes! Stop using my brush! You're not wearing that. That's mine. Oh, it was crazy, crazy household. But you know, we got through it.